Hello everyone, welcome to video number 2 of my Taco Fiesta Stamp Stack. This Stamp Stack features the Taco Fiesta stamp set, which is in our mini catalog right now. I just love this stamp set. I love the little fun, whimsical, playful images in that stamp set. In video 1, we made this card and we die cut all of the DSP that we need for all 6 of our cards. This is video number 2. We're going to make this one. And tomorrow in video number 3, we will create this card as well. Now, if you want to get the Taco Fiesta Stamp Stack kit, I do have some kits available. They are pre-made, ready to go. So please email me. All the details for the kit are in the video description or they are on my blog. So you can email me. These are ready to go. As soon as I get payment, they will go out either the same business day or the very next business day, depending on, timing of everything. The Stamp Stack makes 6 cards. You're going to get supplies for all 6 of your cards. That means all the die cut pieces, all the card bases, and cardstock to cut and fussy, or to stamp and fussy cut all your images. You're also going to get 6x4 sheets. You're going to get 12 of these 6x4 sheets of the Flowers and More DSP. This is a host exclusive DSP. You're going to choose 4 of these patterns to use for your cards, and then you're going to be left with 8 patterns left to do whatever you want with. So you're going to see some of those patterns that we're using on the cards today. In video number 1, we cut all 4 of those pieces that we're going to use for the cards. So if you missed that video, make sure to check that out. Also in your card kit, you're going to get 24 of these enamel dots that you're going to use on your cards as well. Okay, so for today, let's jump right into card number 2. This is the Spectacular card, and this is maybe my favorite, although tomorrow's card is pretty amazing too. So we need our 2 Sweet Sorbet card bases that are in that card kit. So you're going to get those. And then the 2 pieces of DSP that we cut yesterday, you're going to need those pieces that are 5x2 of whatever pattern you chose. This is the pattern we're using today. You can say I used a different pattern for my sample ones. So you can use whatever you want. And then you're also going to need 2 of those 1/2 inch by 5.5 inch strips as well. So we're going to use those. And then you have your half sheet of basic white cardstock that we're going to do our stamping and coloring on. So let's do that first. Now I have already stamped my images for 1 card, so we're only going to stamp and color the images for 1 of the cards. But if you were doing this for your Stamp Stack, you would want to make sure that you do enough for both cards. All right, so we're going to start with our Memento black ink. We are going to do our stamping. So we need to, for the fussy cutting pieces, we are going to fussy cut the taco, the sombrero, the little bowl of guacamole, and the lime. So I actually have the taco, the guacamole, and the lime all on one stamp here. That's just if you know you're going to fussy cut it anyway, if it doesn't have to be stamped in a specific area or a specific place, go ahead and mount them all on one block. You can even use the Stamparatus for this, and that would really save you some time. So we're going to stamp those. We also need to fussy cut the little sombrero, so I'm going to stamp that as well. And we need to put our little mustache on our taco. So I have the little mustache stamp. In the Taco Fiesta stamp set, there are 5 different faces that you can use. It is very, very adorable. It makes some really, really cute sets. So I'm just making sure that I have his mustache nice and inky, because I want a nice kind of black bold. So I'm just going to hold it there. Beautiful. So fun. Now before we get to coloring, before I put this away, on our little label piece here, we're going to stamp a couple pieces on here. We're going to do the chili and the little chip. If you wanted to stamp those and fussy cut those, you could stamp those and fussy cut them out. I thought maybe we could just add a little bit more dimension. These things could be in the background, and then we don't have to fussy cut. Those are 2 less things that we have to fussy cut. So we have our chili, and then we have the little chip. So the chili is just a little bit off to the left of center, and then the chip is going to go up here on the top right. Okay, now let's get to coloring. We're going to do a little bit of stamping with the Sweet Sorbet in a little bit, but let's do the coloring first. So I have all my images here that we're going to do our coloring with. So let's start with our Sweet Sorbet. So I have light and dark, so we'll do our dark Sweet Sorbet first. So on the taco, we're going to just color in some tomatoes. So I like to just, pick one and then skip one, skip one. All right, now for the little sombrero, this little top part of the rim of the sombrero is also going to be dark sweet sorbet. These little images are pretty small, so a lot of the times we're not even going to be doing any shading. All right, what else is red? We have our little chili pepper down here that's red. So go very carefully around the stem. Just very carefully, and I'm still using my dark here. So just go around the stem, and then along the left side of that pepper, and then along the bottom, I'm going to go in with my dark all the way around with my dark. Okay, I'm going to come in with my light. I'm actually going to move to my brush tip just to blend this a little bit quicker. We're just going to fill in the rest of that chili pepper with the light sweet sorbet. Now, if you want to add some more darker colors over here, go ahead and keep going over it with the dark. The more times that you go over it, the darker the ink will become. Just blend that a little bit. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's perfect for all of our sweet sorbet areas. So we'll put those markers aside. Let's move on to our Daffodil Delight. Excuse me, I need to drink real quick. Hang on. Coloring works up a thirst. So for our little chip, as long as we're working on our little tag here, I'm going to do the dark on the left side of the chip. That's where these little dots are focused, and those little dots are telling us that the artist said that there should be some shading there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow the artist's suggestion. Now with my light, I'm going to go through and just kind of blend that out and finish filling in the rest of my chip with my light Daffodil Delight. Now if you don't have Daffodil Delight, other options for the chip and the taco shell would be maybe a saffron. You could do that. That would work well too. Now I'm using my light to color the top of the little sombrero there. All right, now for my dark, I'm actually going to switch to my brush tip for my dark because we're going to do quite a bit of dark on here. So I want a nice like yellow golden taco shell. So I'm going up and around both sides, and then we'll just kind of go along the bottom. This doesn't have to be neat. This doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to blend it all out anyway. Okay, so then go in with your light, and I'm going to make sure that I concentrate going over those lines first just to make sure they get blended out, and then I'll just keep blending the rest of that out. Okay, and that gives just some nice shading along that taco, and just like that. Isn't that cute? He's already coming to life. All right, that is it with our Daffodil Delight. So we're going to put those aside. We have our Parakeet Party, which I think is just a really fun color, especially for stuff like this. So I'm using my little bullet tip. We're going to do the bottom of the sombrero rim. Just real careful. I'm just kind of tapping it in. I'm going to do all this lettuce hanging out of the taco. All right. Now with our dark, I'm going to do is this my dark? Yeah, I just wanted to double check. I'm going to do kind of like the rind or the peel of the lime, and then just all those little segments inside. We're not going to really do any blending on the lime because it's pretty small. With the dark as well, just wherever the artist has added some little shadows, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to kind of trace around the little mounds there, and I'm going to go in and just kind of trace and just wherever there's little hash marks or dots where the artist has said. And then I'll just fill that in with my light. And I'm going to do the same with my lime here. Just kind of fill it in. Parakeet Party light and dark are pretty similar in color. So I'm going to go back in with my dark because I really want some of those areas to really shine with that darker thing. So I'm going to just kind of go over anywhere that I really want it to be highlighted darker. Okay, I think that's good. And then finally, with the dark, we're just going to color in our chili stem. No blending on that one, it's too small. All right, we're done with the Parakeet Party. The final thing that we need to color is our little bowl. So I'm using gray granite for that. So I'm going to start with the light this time. I'm just going to go in with the light. We're going to color the whole bowl with light gray granite. And then I'm going to go in with the dark, and I'm going to add dark to the little feet of the bowl. Those are going to be under the bowl, so they're going to be darker. And then around each side, and then along the bottom. And the bowl is going to be a round object, so the shadows are going to be coming in from each side, and it's going to be the lightest in the center where the bowl kind of curves around. So I'm just using my light to blend that back in. If you want to make it a little bit darker, especially along those edges, take your dark, just go back in, a little bit more dark to the feet. All right, I think that completes our coloring. All right, put my gray granite aside, and we are ready to fussy cut. So our little tag we're going to set aside, and then I'm just going to cut these apart from that white piece, and we're going to fussy cut. So I didn't do the second one, any of the advanced work on that second card, so we are going to do all the fussy cutting on camera for that second one. If you were making 2 of these cards, if you were doing the Stamp-A-Stack, you would need to fussy cut the ones for both cards. So there's our little sombrero. These images are not hard to fussy cut. I think they're actually pretty easy, and we're putting them onto a white tag, and so you don't have to be too exact about it because the eye is only going to see that stamped line. It's not going to focus on any imperfections in your cutting. So don't stress too much about fussy cutting. I know some people don't like to fussy cut because they think it has to be perfect, but that's not the case at all, especially once you put it on a project that has a similar background. You're not going to see those any imperfections in your fussy cutting. So don't give yourself a hard time. Give yourself a little bit of grace and it'll be okay. I promise. Anybody that gets these cards is going to be so wowed by how adorable they are that they're not going to focus on anything that you may see as an imperfection. And I know we're all our worst critics, right? All right, so those are all the pieces. See, that didn't take long at all. We got them done relatively quickly. All right, now I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to set these aside for card number 2. We're going to set these aside just for a second because we're going to do a little bit of stamping on our card base. We're going to do those little tiny chili peppers on our card base, and I've already done that for one of my cards, and so we just need to do that for one more. So I have a little scrap piece of paper here. I'm going to pull in my sweet sorbet ink and the little tiny chili pepper, and up here on the top right, we're going to kind of swoop in a little bit. So I'm just doing a little bit kind of back and forth. They don't have to be perfect. We're not going to go all the way across, so I'm just going to go about halfway down. And then over here, almost all the way to the left edge, we're going to pick it up again. And we're not going to go all the way across to that left edge, just a little bit on the side. Okay? So that's just going to add just a little bit of fun dimension in the background. Now let's pull back our little tags here for both of our cards, and I have the stamp that says Spectacular, and we are going to stamp that right on the top. Now I'm going to give you a little tip here. I'm actually going to turn my tags upside down. I'm going to turn my stamp upside down because I find it's easier to line up the edge of that stamp with the top, and that gives it nice and straight. I'm trying not to get my head under the camera, but it's a small stamp. There we go. Perfect. Just make sure if you turn your tag upside down, make sure you're turning your stamp upside down too, so you're not stamping it upside down. All right, let's get this thing put together. So let's put these off to the side. We're going to bring in our card bases. I burnish these down again. Okay, we have our DSP pieces, so I'm going to add the bigger ones first. These are the 2x5 ones. I'm going to add those first. These are going to go along the bottom of our card, just even borders on the bottom left and right, just like that. This paper really is amazing. It's a host exclusive paper, which means that it's only available as a Stampin' Reward purchase. To accumulate Stampin' Rewards, you need to spend $150 or have $150 in sales from a party or a workshop, however you choose to do it. Now, my Stampin' Seal just ran out, so we're switching to liquid glue for the rest of this. So I just put a little bit on the back of each of those 1/2" strips, and these are going to go right across the top here, and these are going to span that whole section. Man, this DSP is looking so good together. I love these two patterns together. I love these two patterns together too. I think that looks really fun. But these patterns are great too, and you can't go wrong with these patterns of DSP. All of them look great. Okay, looks good. We're gonna add our tags with some dimensionals. So let me pull these out. Some dimensional adhesive here. Just a few on the back. When you're doing a Stamp-A-Stack of cards, it helps you out to do everything all at once. So do all of your stamping all at once, do all of your coloring all at once, do all of your adhering all at once. When you do it step by step like that, it cuts down on your time. It makes you a lot more productive. All right, these little tags go right on there. All right, now we're going to adhere our tacos and our little guac bowls. Those are going to go on with dimensionals as well. All right, I'm going to grab another sheet of dimensionals. We'll save those edges for another time. So a couple dimensionals on the back of all of these. Now our little sombrero, our limes will go on just with our liquid glue or with glue dots. You could use those too. Those are going on nice and flat. And then we already have our chili pepper and our chip on here. So let's actually start with our little guac bowls, because we want to make sure that we line up that chip to be landing right inside that bowl. So line that up. And we're going to stick our taco on. We don't want to cover up our chili. Make sure that you can still see the chili. Actually, I'm going to move this over just a little bit, like that. Move this one over just a little bit too, just like that. Perfect. And then we have our little taco guy go on there. All right. Now just off to the side here, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. We're going to stick on that lime. And I'm just going to put a little dot of glue up here on the taco. And we're going to stick on the little sombrero, just like that. Isn't that adorable? Let's do the same thing on this one. A little bit off to the side for the lime. Just going to stick that on there. And a little bit for the sombrero. All right, and we are almost done with this one. I have some of those little enamel dots that come in the Stamp-A-Stack kit. We are going to do a couple of these. Let me bring this one down. We're going to do a couple of the big ones, one big one on each end here, and then we'll do a couple little ones down here. One and one. One. All right, and one more little finishing touch. I have my little Wink of Stella pin, and I'm just going to brush that over my sombrero and my lime. Do that on both of them. Now, I forgot to do my Wink of Stella on Monday's card. So if you wanted to, I added Wink of Stella to the little pinata there if you wanted to add some sparkle. It's totally cute without it, but if you wanted to add a little bit extra, you could. All right, so that is card number 2 in my Taco Fiesta Stamp-A-Stack. So far we have card number 1, we have 2. So we already have 4 cards, and tomorrow will be our final card of the Taco Fiesta. We're going to make this adorable little avocado card. All right, guys, remember, if you want to get this kit, if you want to get the Taco Fiesta kit, please email me to see if there are any of the kits left. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you later. Bye.